He went got hit that transfer portal. He went got hired guns to come in, and they came. Those kids came in. They didn't give a damn about JSU. They wanted to play Prime. So when Prime left, they left. Now you have to complete that roster. And now you got to go and get kids that bleed JSU. And I think TC Taylor's the guy that's going to be able to do it.
Hey, Mark, I'll throw another one at you since he did TC Taylor in Jackson State. Coach Terry Sims, no longer the head coach at Bethune-Cookman. Ed Reed now the head coach at Bethune-Cookman. Mark, what's your thoughts on Terry Sims out the door? And now this, what I call that ticker hire. This makes the ticker on ESPN, on Fox, whatever news outlet that you want to get your sources from. This makes the ticker, and Ed Reed is now in at Bethune-Cookman.
Well, it was a shock value hire, number one. And there's two layers to this, if you ask me. It was a shock value hire. They had to become relevant in the state of Florida again. I think this is the prime effect. I will tell you that I know that Ed Reed did have an interview with Morgan State, given that he played with the Ravens. The people that I talked to on that committee didn't want to give him full control of the program, which is why he didn't take the job. But I have a very good source inside the inner workings that, he was number one on the depth chart for the Morgan job prior to them hiring Damon Wilson, who's an HBCU lifer. I think that's a great program. 3 years, my alma mater will be competing, if not in the Celebration Bowl. Mark that down. That being said, TC Taylor is a lifer too, so he got an intrinsic passion about it, and I think that's what's going to separate the love that he puts into the program. Now, whether you know how that is in that pressure cooker that is Jackson, you got to win. And it can't be 8-3. It can't be 9-2. It can't be 10-1 and losing in the Celebration Bowl twice. But to BJ's point, Ed Reed is not a traveling media circus. Part of the problems I've had for the last couple of seasons of sitting on the SWAC teleconference is the fact that Brian would suck the life out of the conference call with his act. That ain't Ed Reed. Ed Reed doesn't want the limelight. Ed Reed is going down there to cut his chop to, and you got to remember, he was CEO of the University of Miami's program. I think every measurable that you touch is perfect for Ed Reed at this time. Going to Bethune, they're down. He'll be able to reach into the portal and get a lot of those South Florida kids who will play big, fast, strong, and physical. Bethune has one. I got a post right now on the HBCU Sports Nation where we break it down. I mean, the Florida Classic. First off, you got to win Florida. All right, that's what it is. And I think Ed Reed can look Willie Simmons in the face from a talent standpoint and get the job done. I think Ed Reed knows, like Prime knows, how to get a talented crew of former players and people who understand how to run a college football program, and he will do well. But the question is, every time you make a hire like this moving forward, it's like a chess game. All right, you move, and then you got to be thinking about 2 or 3 moves down the line. And these guys aren't in it for the long haul. Prime showed you what could happen when you go in with the hype, you deliver, I guess, on your promises, and then you move it forward. That's what Ed Reed is doing right now. I mean, you can't tell me that his be-all, end-all job, his destination job is Bethune-Cookman. So you got to have a 5-year window. You got him potentially 5 years. I thought Jackson was going to have Prime for 4. They didn't. But Ed Reed's character is a lot different than Coach Prime. Coach Prime is a character. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I covered Deion Sanders in 1992 when he should have been the most valuable player of the World Series. So this Coach Prime and being all upset because people not calling you by your given government or are calling you by your given government name, or the bar stool following you around. the Coach Prime going to Colorado, Amazon Prime series. Well, you know, it's egregious to self-indulgence. That won't be the case with Ed Reed. So I think that Bethune-Cookman made a good hire, but it's really, quite frankly, Reggie Theus covering his backside. Great basketball player, phenomenal basketball analyst when he worked at TNT. But there are people that are scratching their heads at his acumen right now at Bethune-Cookman in terms of the way that he's running the athletic program. Remember, Theus is a basketball player, analyst, and now athletic administrator for the first time. He had to get football coaching right. This was something that had been building. Terry Sims is a good man. He's a better coach. Bethune has had their financial challenges since the hurricane literally obliterated the campus. So to have a person like Ed Reed down there, it's a shock hire. But Ed Reed is not Deion Sanders. I know for a fact, I know guys that have football camps. Ed Reed would be the kind of guy, look, I'm here for the kids. Don't put me on the air. I don't want to talk to anybody. He's that understated type of dude, but Prime wanted to shine. Ed Reed's a great hire. He's going to do well at Bethune-Cookman. I don't know if it equates to any championship. I also don't think it's a long-time solution. If you get 5 years out of him, you got to be ready for the counterpunch. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that Reggie Theus has that kind of foresight to think about who's going to be the next man up. And hopefully Ed Reed will have a passion for the program so that he grooms the next man up for when he leaves and goes to his Power 5 conference program. Because we've seen what our schools have become. They're not destinations. They're pit stops. And you know, you gotta approach it and see if you're willing to make that deal with the devil, and hopefully your athletic administration got the foresight to have a person in the bullpen that's ready to become a starter. And you know, that you won't know the Ed Reed effect on Bethune-Cookman until, quite frankly, after he leaves, whether it's after 12, 18, 36, or 48 months. But I just don't see it being a long-term solution, but I think it'll get the program back on track.
BJ, let me do this one with you. Jump over to Mississippi Valley, of course. Vincent Dancy, Coach, I have a lot of respect for Coach Dancy. I really do. I really like him as a head coach. I just think he was in a tough spot at Mississippi Valley, but he then goes and joins Colorado staff with Coach Deion Sanders, and they recently named Kendrick Wade, who comes in now as the head coach. So that is another coaching change. What do you think about Valley and Kendrick Wade being named as the head coach?
Kendrick has made some rounds. He was at Fort Valley, most recently at Delta State. He was a hell of a receiver at Mississippi Valley. Back in the day, at the mid-2000s era, he was a hell of a receiver. And he's made his name. He's coached some nice receivers, Shamar Bridges, who done some great things up there at Baltimore and the practice squad up there from Fort Valley State. Delta State's a football team that had some nice receivers, and they, went deep into the Division II playoffs. But the most important thing, he's an alum of Mississippi Valley. He knows the challenges there. It remains to be seen if he can get that program off the ground. It's been a long time since Valley has been relevant as far as competing for a title. You got to go all the way back to 2005, 2004, 2006, that range there. But, with Valley, man, it's almost like you got to take what you can get, unfortunately. And that's a program that's hamstrung. They doesn't have a lot of resources. You could probably argue they probably should be a Division II program. But they're hamstrung by a lot of things. And that's one of the things about Vincent Dancy. I love Vincent Dancy. I think he's a hell of a coach. I'm glad that he got out of there, because one of the things I always said I was afraid of for Vincent Dancy was people would look at their records instead of looking at the totality of what he had to deal with, and he might not get another opportunity. Now he goes to Colorado. He's going to be an analyst up there. He's going to be able to learn, grow, learn that Power 5, learn that scene. Probably get an opportunity to become an on-field coach. And through that networking, he might come back to HBCU football as one of the hottest, candidates in a few years, or he might get another, Power 5 or something like that position, coaching position, which only benefits him. So I'm happy for Coach Dancy, but for Mississippi Valley, man, it probably stings a lot to lose a coach like Vincent Dancy, because you don't get those type of guys taking Mississippi Valley job.
Mark, then I jump over to you. UAPB, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, gets rid of Doc Gamble midway through the season, and it took them a while to figure out a coach. And then just recently they get the coaching name, and it is Alonzo Hampton, a guy that was formerly on the staff there. He tagged along with Willie Taggart at a couple stops, Oregon, Florida State, recently now at ULM, and now he gets the head coaching job at UAPB. What's your thoughts in terms of UAPB moving on from Doc Gamble and now ushering in a new era with Alonzo Hampton?
I think what happened with Pine Bluff is they never really got over the hangover of Monty Coleman, and it's been downhill ever since. And I think that maybe this is a hire that finally gets them back on the radar screen. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys got to help me, they had a couple of interesting signings from the transfer portal, and we've seen that you can win at Pine Bluff. Believe it or not. Whether you can win consistently and sustain it remains to be the same, remains to be the story, however. But that's one of those programs that I look at and see how active and aggressive they can be to find themselves one or two game changers. And that's what I want to see if Arkansas Pine Bluff can do, is can they find those game changers? And they're in a fertile hotbed where you got a lot of people, and the people who are transferring and leaving the school, like say a Colorado, that could be a landing spot. He can get some players down there quickly. And that's one of those programs that I don't necessarily think is a quick fix, but it don't have to take a half a decade. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So all things considered, I'm still putting that one in the evaluation computer. I got to see what the commitment is, quite frankly, from the university. The university did not seem to want to make the commitments to take the next step. And at some level, you got to invest to get a return. I think that's the issue with Mississippi Valley State. They don't have anything to invest, so they don't get the proper return. And I think that Pine Bluff is one of those middle-of-the-road SWAC programs, kind of speak, that could be great in the league and at least consistently competitive, or they could be consistently at the bottom. It's a real fine line in terms of resources and vision and sustainability in that league. I don't know where the infrastructure is right now for Pine Bluff, and I would say anybody who takes that job is facing an enormous challenge because of that. And so my jury is still out.
BJ, what's your thoughts on Pine Bluff quickly, naming Alonzo Hampton?
Oh, man, it's going to be interesting for Pine Bluff, man. I think, Pine Bluff, man, it's one of those programs where things like once every 10 years they have that team. And you want to try to get out of that. You want that to be a little bit more consistent. I'm glad they went to someone who knows the range, that's familiar with the program, and let's been around. It's going to be very interesting to see who he brings in as far as staff. But Pine Bluff is one of those schools, man. You can win that Pine Bluff. We see, Mark Coleman do it. We saw it with Sidney Thomas built there. And it was going to be interesting to see if Sidney Thomas would stay there. But it's going to be interesting to see, what the Golden Lions have and what's the future of that program.
Yeah, I think it is, man. And as we recap, we talk about 2022, of course, the Celebration Bowl. Trey Oliver, man, congratulations to him. We didn't get to the MEAC because it was so much to unpack in the SWAC. We may have to do this again next week, but as we unpack and talk about the SWAC, but if we look at the Celebration Bowl, I have to say congratulations to Coach Trey Oliver, former Southern University defensive coordinator, going over there to North Carolina Central and getting them into a position to be the HBCU national champions. But fellas, before we get off, we got about give me about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, quickly. About a minute and a half apiece for either one of y'all. North Carolina A&T moving on from Sam Washington. I could not go on without talking about this. BJ, give me your thoughts on A&T moving on from Sam Washington. About a minute and a half for me.
We'll go quickly. A&T, there's a lot of things going on up there, and everything ain't as smooth and saily as it seems from the outside. There's one thing to fire a coach because, you have some philosophical differences with their coach. A&T fired Sam Washington and did not have not one player. The plan was to fire Sam Washington. Who we go with and where we go next, there was no thought put into it. I hope that they had a coach on yesterday. I hope that it works out. But it seems like poor planning as far as athletics is a consistent trend with the athletic administration with North Carolina A&T. And I hope that it doesn't come back to bite them. From everyone I talked to, especially during Celebration Bowl weekend, I got an opportunity to talk to both Sam Washington and head coach Broadway. It seems like A&T, it's like this. A&T might be moving comfortably again, probably in the next 5 to 6 years.
Mark, what's your thoughts on A&T moving on from Sam Washington?
It's the arrogance of their own ignorance, which has continued to inhibit them, even from the days where they were great. There was functional lunacy that's been going on down there, and they've been winning in spite of it. Sam Washington didn't endear himself to the people because he consistently played, from what I hear, Jermaine Martin while he was injured, and that derailed that kid's opportunity to really get to the NFL and did conferences. And you got to question Earl Hilton. I think what happens is sometimes that at A&T, they're a bit delusional about their place. A&T is a great place. You can win there, but let's be frank, they get in the way of themselves in ways that we've seen. Oftentimes, Southern get in the way of itself. The absence of support. Nobody wanted A&T to leave. The athletic administration thought that it was going to be better because they was going to try to pull a Tennessee State, keep the travel where it is right now. And with all due respect, Sam has them within a game of winning the big shot. Okay, let's be clear about that. So I don't get A&T again. I think, and I love A&T. I got family that went there. I got friends, good friends who are like family, like you guys are. And I care about, and I'll say this on the record, hands to left of me, hey, let the good Lord hit you where the door not,
You say let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Exactly. But y'all ain't bringing nothing to the table, fans don't travel, you don't get a snowball. A&T left, it was like losing a family member. Everybody will take that up and down the conference. But Earl Hilton got some questions to deal with, the athletic administration, the college. I mean, A&T is, quite frankly, beneath the surface, a hot freaking mess. It's been that way for so long. They got too many people who are caught up in their own arrogance, and they inhibited themselves from being a dominant program. You stay in the MEAC, you got a legacy, man. You move to another conference, and obviously the financial ramifications that they thought they was going to benefit from haven't happened. So A&T is a mess, and at the end of the day, they don't believe in long-term commitment. Is what have you done for me lately? And, Sam had a couple of back-to-back seasons where he lost after winning the national championship. They want to move on. They didn't appreciate Rod Broadway when he was down there. I mean, A&T got to stop living on the notion that just because they got what they call G-Ho, which is the greatest homecoming on earth, that the world is supposed to stop for them. And it's a new world order, and they just haven't bought into it yet.
All right, fellas, I want to thank you guys for coming on this morning. BJ, tell the people where they can find you if they want to keep up with you.
Oh, man, you can find me on Twitter at InsideHBCU Football, man. I keep it going there. Facebook, BJ Jones, man. Be on the lookout. Me and my man Joshua film the Coach's Corner. I'm going to be coming to you guys in February on Saturday on the Black College Sports Network. So that's going to be the new show, man. Featuring myself and Joshua Sam and our mediator from Howard, Miss Erica Rochelle.
All right.
So that's going to be coming to you guys, man. The Coach's Corner, man. Be on the lookout. Logo will be dropping soon.
Okay, Mark. But let the people know where they can keep up and follow you, Mark.
HSRN, HS Radio on Twitter, HSRN.com. Also, you can find me doing my thing on the HBCU Sports Nation in conjunction with Smash Entertainment. Follow us on YouTube. We also got the Facebook page, HBCU Sports Nation, where you can drop a line and be a part of the family. And, oh yeah, my baby, my love, my sweetheart, MLBBro.com, where we chronicle black Major League Baseball players, all 75 of them, and the history of black American baseball culture. And, you know, big ups to everybody, like your boy Roger Cater, the Eddie Robinson of Black College Baseball. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Putting together the HBCU All-Star Game during the All-Star Game for Major League Baseball in July in Seattle. Dude, that's going to be a game changer. And I got some other stuff. So check out MLBBro.com right now. And, you know, that's where we at. That's what we do. And then, of course, I'll be the voice of the CIAA tournament. And you may see me at the SWAC this year as well.
All right, fellas, I want to say thank you guys for coming on this morning, man. I totally appreciate it, man. We'll get you guys back on here in the future, all right?
Much love, man.
All right, we got to get ready to get up out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Be sure to go follow the Jaguar Journal on YouTube. Follow the Jaguar Journal as well as follow us on Facebook, on our social media, baby. Keep up with the lives. As always, I'm Perry White. It's the Jaguar Journal. We'll catch you next week. Everybody have a happy new year, all right?
Told to meet. Has the physical and mental strength to carry out his responsibilities.
The spiritual leader said he was going to retire, the first pope in centuries to voluntarily do so. As Pope Emeritus, Benedict chose to spend the rest of his days in prayer and contemplation. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
His funeral will be this Thursday. A trailblazing journalist has also done